President Biden works to rescue the American hostages. The White House again freezing $6 billion in humanitarian aid to Iran as key ally of Hamas. Now, that money made available just weeks ago in a prisoner swap with the Islamic Republic. It's unclear yet if Iran played a direct role in planning the attacks on Israel.
Joe Khalil has the latest on the Biden administration's response. We have Joe Khalil from the White House. Joe.
Yeah, Adrienne, good morning. So the Biden administration was under quite a bit of pressure to do more as it relates to Iran. And there's been a lot made about these Iranian funds. So you may be asking, why go after Iran in this way if we don't definitively know they were involved? Well, whether they were or not, they're the biggest financier and supporter of Hamas terrorism. And just recently, the U.S. unfroze $6 billion of Iranian money that they were allowed to use as part of this prisoner exchange where the United States got back captive Americans who had been stuck in Iran for quite some time. That $6 billion, that was actually in a Korean bank frozen because of American sanctions. And again, as part of this deal, the U.S. agreed to unfreeze that money just for humanitarian purposes. It was controlled by Qatar, a third-party sort of negotiator here, and it was up upon them to release it just for things like food aid and others in Iran, though there were a lot of people who were critical of that, saying Iran is going to find a way to use this money for terrorism. So in response, yesterday, the Biden administration did ultimately freeze that money again. That was something that, again, they were getting quite a bit of pressure to do. Meantime, the U.S. is still working on its diplomatic front. You've got Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in the region today. Austin is in Tel Aviv. He's meeting with his Israeli counterpart there. Didn't get too many details on what specifically he is doing, but generally the Department of Defense says he is there to help oversee some of the military support and aid that the U.S. is providing to Israel right now. On Secretary Blinken's front, he was in Tel Aviv yesterday meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Today, he traveled to Jordan, where he's going to be meeting with King Abdullah of Jordan and Mahmoud Abbas, the leader of the Palestinian Authority. Both men are American allies. Both, however, have been pushing the U.S. to open up more humanitarian aid and resources for civilians living in Gaza, people who now are displaced from their homes. We're talking about women and children who now are really going to be struggling there. For Blinken's part, he says his priority when he's meeting these Arab leaders is to try to get them to use whatever leverage they have over Hamas to deal with the hostages. If there's any way that these Arab leaders, who again are allies of the United States, can do something to help make it easier to release those hostages, American and Israeli, that is the focus, according to Secretary Blinken, for his trip to Jordan. So the White House here, the administration, on a number of fronts, still very deeply involved in this crisis as these steps unfold here. Adrienne.
Joe, thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.